Real Estate Show. Now, your host, Andrew Duncan.
We're back with you live for another week to talk about the local real estate market in the Tampa Bay area. It's been a couple weeks since I've been live. We had a pre-recorded show a few weeks back due to me being out of town in Washington, D.C., and then last week, Clear Channel across the country did the 9/11 tribute. So I'm glad to be back with you live for another week talking about the local real estate market in Tampa Bay. Excited to have with me today Ron Pepka from Team Pepka, teampepka.com from the Bradenton, Sarasota market to give us an update on what we're seeing compared to the Tampa Bay market down in Bradenton, Sarasota for all our listeners down there. And then Bobby Johnson, an agent on my team that works primarily with our buyer clients, going to give us some insight and input on some of the things that he's seeing in the market today. Our call-in numbers to get your questions answered, 990-9352 in Hillsborough. Again, that's 990-9352. All of our call numbers end in 9352 or WFLA. In Pinellas, it's 461-9352, 461-WFLA. Toll-free, 1-800-969-9352. And as always, feel free to check out our Facebook and YouTube pages to get real estate updates. We tend to put segments of the show on those websites. You can find us there by searching for the Duncan Duo or the Duncan Duo Show. And out of the gate today, I want to talk about the real estate statistics that came out from the Greater Tampa Association of Realtors for August home sales this month in Tampa. And Ron, I'm going to get your take on this in a minute and compare it to what you're seeing in Bradenton, Sarasota. But for us in our market, in August, we had 1,957 sales, an average sale price of $158,000, which was up slightly from last month. The 2,000 home sales have seemed to stick around that number since about March. 5.2 months of inventory. I mean, really what we're seeing is a lot of stabilization. If you look at the average sale price back from mid to late 2009 to today, it's really not that much changed. We're starting to stabilize. We're starting to see the market improve, and I think it's a great sign of the market where we're starting to see a seller's market in certain price ranges, multiple offer type opportunities, buyers competing for homes. And compare that, when we look at the inventory, compare it to 2006, where we had around this time in 2006 6.3 months of inventory in our market. So, the buyer's market of 2009, of 2009, 2010 isn't, really prevalent anymore. So, Ron, compared to what you're seeing in your market, how do those statistics compare to what you're seeing in Bradenton, Sarasota?
Andrew, they're pretty much exactly the same. In Manatee County, we have a 6.5 month supply. So we would call that a neutral market. In Sarasota County, we have a 5.9 month supply. So we're seeing a neutral market straight across the board. But under 250,000, strong seller's market.
Yeah.
Multiple offers, full price,
Yep.
more than full price.
And as you climb the charts with price, it gets softer and softer, right?
Absolutely. When we get up to $1 million, $1 million home, goodness gracious, there's 12 sellers to every one buyer.
That's about ours too. So I think I saw 50-something months of inventory, for above $1 million. So it's highly competitive in that piece of the market.
Sure, it's like 12 wolves in the forest, and only one's going to eat that month. And you have to decide whether you're going to be, lead the pack or you're going to be in the back of the pack.
Right. And I think that, what we talked about before, and we talked about this a few months back when we were looking at the market, how to price and strategize. Obviously, there's a lot more $200,000 and $300,000 homes that sell, in Tampa Bay and in Sarasota than are at $1 million. So that's really more of the market in terms of activity. And Bobby Johnson with us. Bobby's a virgin on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show. It's his first time appearing with us. Bobby regularly gets questioned about whether he's my brother, because he's about my size. He's got the same kind of spiky hair. So when Bobby goes to work with our clients, he gets mistaken for me a lot. So today Bobby's going to talk with us a little bit. And you had, you talked to us, in meetings and stuff, and you're regularly starting to see, buyers, multiple offer, competing, losing out because of lots of traction on well-priced listings. Is that something you're seeing a lot in the market?
Yeah, and I think it can be very frustrating for buyers because of the fact that they're under the impression that it's a buyer's market. So when there's a lot of offers, they're not necessarily understanding that between certain price ranges and in single-family homes, it's much more of a seller's market.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are still paying attention to the news from 09 or 010 and not necessarily to the local news or the local market. And then on the other side of that is, real estate is so local, it varies from neighborhood to neighborhood. But and you hear national real estate news talking about how the market's this or the market's that, and really that's meaningless. If you hear that on CNN, don't even pay attention to it, because what matters is what's going on in your neighborhood, and you know, pockets of Tampa, you know, Carrollwood, South Tampa, you know, some of those areas, it is highly competitive. We put a house on the market in the $200,000 to $300,000 range, and we're counting on multiple offers. So, and that's something, again, even in other price ranges, you're seeing that. Even the lower stuff, a lot of competition with investors.
Yeah, for sure. Something that comes to mind the other day was Carrollwood, for instance. There was a house on the market only 2 days, and it was gone. And you're seeing that more and more in the pockets that you said, South Tampa especially. I have an investor that I've been working with for a couple months, and you know, everything we go in is just multiple offers, and it's very frustrating for him. And I think that happens to a lot of people. It takes one or two them to lose out on before they finally find
Start
the
to
one.
realize.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I think that again, it's just a nature of economics and the news and what people hear and believe and what they think is reality, and then what the perception is. And you know, a lot of people believe that the market is a lot worse than what it really is. It has made drastic improvements since 2009. Now, we're not seeing prices go up, but we're seeing a lot more activity. Homes are selling more quickly. Rates are, you know, historically low. So, Ron, you guys, again, you're seeing the same thing, multiple offer type stuff, real competitive in certain price ranges.
Absolutely. Anything under 250, you know, they're flying off the